monologue. Robert Mueller's team on defense tonight. Really serious claims. The FBI pressuring General Flynn to be interviewed without an attorney present. Well, that has now got the attention of U.S. District Judge Emmett G. Sullivan. He's now ordered Mueller to hand over all documents related to the Flynn interview by 3 p.m. tomorrow. And on top of that, then you have James Comey on tape boasting, we totally took advantage of the fact that this is a new administration. We wouldn't have done this in the Obama or Bush years. Really? Here to discuss it more, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and the host of Sinclair's Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson, is with us. Is this how we treat American heroes, that we now brag, this is something that I wouldn't have done or gotten away with a more organized administration like the Obama administration and the Bush administration, so I took full advantage. On top of the deputy FBI director telling Flynn he doesn't need a lawyer and that they wanted him relaxed. Meanwhile, because of the unmasking and leaking of raw intelligence, something, by the way, Cheryl Atkinson knows pretty much about personally, they had a direct transcript that they shouldn't have had. Congressman, when does this end, and when do these people get held accountable? Instead of the people with the taxi medallions and the loan applications.
Well, that's why we've always said we need a second special counsel, because, we can't put anyone in jail. We can just try to get answers. But you're so right, Sean. When you say I got away with something, that just tells you didn't do it the right way. You didn't follow the rules. You didn't do it the way you were supposed to. They were so focused on getting President Trump that they were willing to set up a lieutenant general, a guy who served our country, as you said, 33 years. So that's the most egregious part of this, what they did to General Flynn. The other thing I think it's important to understand is Mike Flynn ran the Defense Intelligence Agency. He had to know his conversations with Kislyak were being listened to, were being monitored. So he had to know that. There's no reason for him to come in there and say something that wasn't true. He just got caught because he didn't know they were setting him up like they did. And so Judge Sullivan demanding these documents is exactly what needs to happen.
The dynamic trio, Comey, McCabe, and Strzok, Cheryl Atkinson. You could relate to this, I'm sure, in your own way, especially masking surveillance issues. But more importantly, I can't believe this has happened in our country. I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum.
I think you're getting at what I think is the bigger story, really, and is underreported in terms of how big it really is, which is the surveillance and other alleged abuses implemented by some bad actors in our intelligence community. And the problem is, I'm glad if Judge Sullivan is flirting around the edge.
The head of the FBI to say he didn't know that they technically had a legal duty to do that is scary. The other thing I come back to, Sean, is never forget the bias that exists with these key people. McCabe, Comey, Strzok, Page, Baker, these key people. Remember the name they gave the Clinton investigation. Mid-year exam. Something they had to get through. They knew the fix was in. They were going to get it taken care of. Kind of get through the mid-year exam. But what was the name they gave the Trump-Russia investigation? Crossfire Hurricane. Just the name show you the bias that was there from the get-go with these top people at the FBI who ran both investigations.
And Cheryl, if you look at what they did in all of these cases here, they're involved the same characters, the same players, the same people that had a bias. They did this on week one of the Trump administration. It sounds like an insurance policy to me. It sounds like a media leak strategy coming thereafter.
It sounds like an operation. And something I think we learned from Comey, I was someone who kind of thought this was plowing old ground to look back at the Clinton material. But in light of what he said, Comey said in his testimony that Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, should have accused herself and didn't, and was either compromised or appeared to be, not just from the tarmac meeting, but about some other unnamed material we don't know about. Number two, he says, had he known about agents investigation that they did on Clinton.
Oh, that's right. And they wiped clean the phones of Strzok and Page when he went from Mueller. And you know why I question Jean Ray and Andrew Weissman and Mueller's choice of his team, all Democratic donors? This is why. Pretty disgraceful. All right, thank you both. We'll get back. More of my exclusive interview with Melania Trump. That's up next. Right here. Stay with
She was pregnant. It wasn't coming.
I had no idea the damage it was.
They greeted me as they always do. So they said, how are you? They were on it. It was on the medical insurance. It's something everyone needs. We're having USAA. That's a privilege. We're the bakers and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today. Remember when Christmas was magical? When the mailman delivered to the North Pole? And we all had a front row shoulder-top seat at the parade. Let's get back there. Santa's Wonderland at Bass Pro Shops and now Cabela's have what we've all been missing. Welcome to crafts and activities where kids will always remember. Move in a picture with Santa, and it's all free. That's right, free. When time passes, hold on to Christmas.
I was looking for the perfect jacket, then I found Scotty Vest.
We took a classic well-made jacket and packed it with thoughtfully designed features. Scotty Vest is made with strategically designed pockets. They comfortably hold all my gear without weighing me down. When I'm wearing my Scotty Vest, I feel ready for anything.
Scotty Vest, featuring weather-resistant fabrics, styles for all seasons, and high-capacity pockets that carry everything you need. Get 20% off today with code TV20.
This poor family doesn't need to put up with this. Turn annoyance into fun. Focusol, insect eradication device.
Green Blazer combo, $49.90, free shipping and handling. Only available at Microsoft.com.
Under eye bags can leave people guessing if you're tired or just had a bad night's sleep. Old wives' tales said you can get rid of under eye puffiness by rubbing raw egg whites or even hemorrhoid cream below your eyes. Well, that's just yucky. I'm Jonathan Greenberg, the CEO of Plexiderm, a simple cream that works to reduce the appearance of under eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. The pictures on your screen are real. Plexiderm was proven to work in a clinical study, but best of all, the proof is when you take it home and try it for yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Sandy Marinese. I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. The number one question that I always get in my chair is, can you make me look younger? So we had a few people that we applied it to, and I was so impressed how well it really worked. Now I can really say to people, yes, I can make you look younger.
Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. Try Plexiderm today and get 50% off your first bottle. Plus get free shipping. Visit Plexiderm.com or call the number on your screen.
If you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for someone special to you, give a gift that will be truly appreciated. The Omaha Steaks Favorite Gift Package. It's filled with $232 worth of great food for just $59.99. That's 74% off only on this special holiday offer. The people on your nice list will receive 4 tender, mouth-watering filet mignons, 4 extra thick boneless pork chops, 4 premium boneless chicken breasts, 4 classic juicy Omaha Steaks burgers, 4 stuffed baked potatoes, and 4 caramel apple tartlets. Your order will be delivered straight to your home or the destination of your choice.
And here now is part 2 of my exclusive interview with the First Lady Melania Trump, and I asked her about the media's attacks, even on her own son Barron. We talked about the Me Too movement, and there's more. He's just about the media, and there's been a lot of controversy because he says it's fake news. Or some of it's fake news. Do you agree?
Some of it is fake news. I would say don't believe everything what you hear and what you read. Not all of it, but some of it is fake news.
Even your young son has been brought into this at times. That doesn't, that wouldn't make me angry. Does that make you angry?
It does make me angry because children should be off limits. And I protect him and I want to give him normal life as possible. This is not normal life, but I like
adulthood that he deserves.
You feel it's working out as best you can. I've met him. He seems very young, very respectful, happy kid.
He's very happy, he's strong, he's tough, he's enjoying life in Washington.
Is he more like the fighter, the outward fighter, Donald, or his mom?
He has both qualities. He's a fighter. He has a soft, a beautiful heart, but he's a fighter too, and he's very strong.
Do you find with all the issues that your husband deals with, foreign policy, Russia, China, Rocketman, use his term, all the issues with employment, regulation, energy, borders, the law, are you mostly in agreement on the big issues that he fights for every day?
With policies, some of them I agree, some I don't, and I give him my opinion. But he's the president, he was elected, so.
When all is said and done, and you now have taken a more public role, what do you want people to know about what issues matter to you the most? I know you have your deep basketball team. You've seen the military, you're traveling the world now more than you have. What do you want people to know about what's important to you? Let's go for it.
Well, my best initiative is in early stages, and I'm very proud what I have accomplished so far. And I have 3 pillars that it's focusing on. It's well-being of children, opioid crisis, and social media use. So I travel the country, I meet with the people, I meet with the parents, and I want to shine a spotlight on the organization and programs that support children and want to be the best for them to grow up in responsible adults.
On borders in particular, you did go down to the border and you met with a lot of Border Patrol guys. I've been down there 13 times in my 23 years at Fox. Everywhere from the Rio Grande to San Diego, in drug warehouses. When you're down there and you see with your own eyes what's going on, is the wall in your head the only answer?
I think we need the wall to protect the country.
The security.
The security, to protect it from the drugs. Of course, we know we will always have people coming over, but this is one solution that we could stop big caravans coming over. And I was at the border and saw firsthand and met with Border Patrol, and I see what they do 24/7, and their hands are full.
We saw rocks and bottles being pelted at them.
Correct.
And they tried to crash the border like the southern border of Mexico. You recently spoke out about the Me Too movement. We saw what happened with Justice Kavanaugh in his confirmation hearing, which to me is so over the top. But you also said, yes, we take it seriously, listen to women, but then you've talked about due process and the presumption of innocence. Do you feel that's missing in this movement?
I think we should all be heard, women and men. We need to be heard and we need to be treated equal.
Remember every time before we ever heard from some of the individuals in the Justice Kavanaugh case, you'd hear people say, I believe. We hadn't heard from anybody.
You can't believe till you're proven guilty. You cannot be guilty till you're proven guilty. And that's very important that we follow the law.
I want to talk about your journey a little more because we kind of glossed over it. Because you grew up in a small town, Slovenia, then you're a model in Milan and Paris. You were independent. You were alone at that time.
Correct.
Now, did you grow up wanting to be a model, or?
I studied design and architecture and stopped my study architecture because I wanted to go in modeling business and professional career as a model. So I moved to Milan and Paris, and then.
How young were you at that time?
I started modeling in Slovenia first when I was 16, and then went to Milan, and then start from then on.
Were you with your parents, or were you independent?
Alone.
You were
independent, yes.
So you grew up fast at a young age, independent
Correct.
at a young age.
Yes.
As you look back on that, and then your journey from Paris and Milan to New York, Did that make you the person that says that they are confident, a good friend, and true to herself?
Yes. My journey made me that.
Madam First Lady, thank you so much for being with us. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
When we come back, you won't believe this. The mainstream media is reacting negatively to my interview with the First Lady. They cannot help themselves. It's pathetic. Joe Concha, Rachel, Campos, Duffy, when we come back, straight ahead.
This program is brought to you by The Mule.
This is beyond pathetic. Watch.
Here is this extraordinary story of a woman who came to this country as an immigrant, as a model, as now the First Lady of the United States. And, you would think in her rare public appearances, that some terrible wrong has been done to her in this country. So I've always been surprised by that air of grievance that she carries very publicly with her.
The First Lady is echoing exactly what the President says. And they're crying, the President has cried fake because he doesn't like the truth that's being reported.
Ambassador to Germany for having the courage to take this horrible issue on. Here now with Reaction to Hill's Joe Concha, Fox News contributor Rachel, contributor Rachel Campos Duffy. Merry Christmas. I'll get it out. So predictable. I am convinced that if the Trumps gave every person in the United States $5 million this Christmas, everybody, and cured cancer, they'd still criticize them. There's every second, minute, hour of every single day of the year. They can't stop it. It's their drug today. They need a fix every day to hate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just not your opinion, Sean. Go ahead, Rachel. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, Rachel, go.
Okay, I was just going to say, I saw in the Washington Post that they had a headline about your interview with Melania, and it was all about how her poll numbers are so low. They refuse to look at what she's doing and what she's saying. By the way, I'm surprised her poll numbers and her husband's poll numbers are holding in the 40s with how much negative, unrelenting press they get. Those numbers are built on results. And what Melania was talking about with you in the interview is absolutely right. She's frustrated. They refuse to report on the results of the administration, and all they want to do is go negative, negative, negative.
I was there. I saw all these events yesterday, Joe. It's like the military lit up. I can't even tell you. It was great for them. They deserve this. And still, you know what? It's so petty. They attack everybody in that family. And, if they can't get Russia collusion, now it's campaign finance. They never, ever report on the other side of it, which is, all the Clinton crimes that we can prove, and collusion with Russia we can prove.
And Sean, I tend to trust local media. I still think that's quite strong. If you read those media accounts of Melania Trump's visit to Joint Langley yesterday, for instance, she was met with cheers and applause when she met with servicemen and women. And I don't know how you could come away from your interview and say, oh, she's whining about the job. I don't see that at all, because I'm the type of guy who bases people on their actions. And the bottom line is that this is the kind of gutter speculation that we see with the president as well, where we have mind readers or people playing doctor on TV in terms of trying to get in the president's head. But the First Lady is obviously clearly enjoying her job, and she's going to places like Alaska like she did last month to visit with troops. So, look, she's getting horrible coverage compared to other First Ladies. Her accent's been mocked. We remember Jimmy Kimmel. And look, English is her fifth language. Less than 1% of the world's population, which is 7.7 billion people, can speak 5 languages. So it's kind of ironic that a late night host is mocking an immigrant. No irony there. But look, First Ladies are sympathetic figures overall. Doesn't matter who you are. And when you have children in the White House, whether that is Melania Trump, Michelle Obama, Laura Bush, or the Clintons, go ahead, criticize and mock. There is no upside to it, Sean.
And the irony is, Rachel, you're right about something. The president's approval rating is exactly where Obama's was at this time in his presidency. So
that's right.
with all the talk
And think
and
about all the fawning press, Sean. I mean, that the Obamas had, and they had horrible results for the country. It's absolutely shocking. I just want to say this. I don't think we've talked a lot about how Michelle Obama has gotten all these magazine covers. Melania has a supermodel, former supermodel, has received none. I don't believe for a second that every single editor of those fashion magazines don't want Melania on the cover. What they are afraid of is the backlash that will happen from the gatekeepers of the left and of Hollywood. They saw what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel treated Donald Trump fairly on his show during the campaign, and he was shamed. And this First Lady, you are not allowed to normalize this president or this presidency, and that's what this is about.
I will tell you this, though, and I spent the time and I saw the troops' reaction to her and asked her about it. She has the resolve that she's going to stay true to herself. That was a part of the interview that we aired yesterday. And that strength is something that everybody can learn something from. It's not a Republican Democratic issue here. Serving other people, making their Christmas, acknowledging their sacrifice for others is a noble thing to do. Leaving kids alone will also be a noble thing to do, but the media can't even control themselves there. Guys, we appreciate it. Good to see you both. And when we come back, major programming announcement. I did another big interview today, and we'll tell you who it was with. We can take bets now on Twitter when we get back.
I need a cookbook